Are you ready for another comic review video, Micah? Yeah. Hey guys, this time we're gonna have Micah Bear, the puppy, help us review our next comic book. What do you think? Does that sound like fun? No, you want to lick your butt, huh? Here's your toy. How about that? Is that better? Okay. So, comic I've got today, I actually just read recently, and obviously you already know by the title, so we're not going to play this game. It is Revival. This is, this trade I believe came out last year, so 2013. Already, I think the next two trades are out. It's really late 2014 right now, so I'm pretty sure the next two are already out. I'm sorry. I haven't read that far. I just wanted to talk about this one in particular, and really quickly, just glossing over this thing. The art looks really good. I mean, I do have some comments on the art I'm going to get into later. The colors are really good. The concept for the story is really good. I think there's a good amount of characters. There's ideas that are poured into this that all would make this really good. But after I got about to the fourth issue, I started questioning, why don't I like it? There's a lot of things going for it, but why don't I like it at all? And I don't want this to be a review where I'm just picking on a comic. I don't ever want to do that. If I don't like something, I want to figure out exactly why I don't, because if I can figure out why I don't like it exactly, then I can figure out what I do like in other comics. So, in Revival, first of all, I should probably get something out of the way. People, I don't know why, want to compare this to The Walking Dead. This has absolutely nothing to do with The Walking Dead. Maybe it's just the fact that it says, you know, Revival, and this kind of looks like a zombie-esque kind of cover, and the fact that bare bones of it, what's happening is people are coming back from the dead. If that's all I told you, it sounds exactly like Walking Dead, but fortunately it's not. It's its own thing. It's really not much of a spoiler at all to try and give you the basics of what's going on in this story. One day, all of a sudden, in this town, some people, I think it was about like almost 23 to 25 people that we know of in this first trade, all start coming back to life, and not in a zombie form. It's more like if your loved ones all of a sudden that you've been grieving over, and now you've accepted the fact that they're gone, are now back in your life again. And I think, man, there's so many different directions that this could have taken, and I feel like just sticking to that could have been its own story, and that could have been really interesting, of people getting used to their family members being with them again. That could have been pretty cool. There's also a lot of stuff in here where they mention what is happening in terms of the town and the media. The media is trying to cover this because it's only in this one town. The people are kind of either freaking out, or they're excited, or they have a bunch of different reactions, though we don't really get to see them all. We just hear about it, which is kind of disappointing, because I would be really interested to see what would actually happen, because they do mention, you just hear this peripherally from people talking in the book. I'll flip through this while I'm talking. People who are talking in the book saying, hey, well, since they quarantined off the town, and they go on. Like, they quarantined off the town? That could be so interesting. Why don't you start telling me about like what exactly is going on, like with the CDC and what they're trying to do? But instead, what this is really about, now that I've beaten around the bush, it's about a bunch of characters I feel like are either building up to a larger story, or they're, I don't know. It's just slowly telling really small snippets of a story, and it's not really adding up to much, is what I'm getting from this first trade. I got to that fourth issue, like I said, when I realized I didn't care about any of the characters, and that's really disappointing, because I was really, really excited to read this book. New Image trade, I actually said in an earlier video, I don't remember which, that if you're thinking about getting any book from Image, it is probably a really good book, considering it's, you know, one of their newer lines that they're coming out with now, and if it still sounds interesting and if you recognize the team, it's probably really good. But this one, and I do recognize partially the team. I would have to look up again Mike Norton because he sounds familiar, but anyway, Tim Seeley wrote Hack Slash, and I think he might have done some art for it as well. I spoke with him for a bit briefly at a comic convention. Nice guy. He's a really good artist, actually. I probably should have gotten my sketchbook back over here. He did a really small sketch for me, and I know this is going to sound really bad. If you watch my Hack Slash video, I kind of tear it apart because I really don't like it, and I was really excited to read this because I wanted something of his that I enjoyed because I met the guy, and I mean, I don't want to have a bad relationship with someone because I don't think they're very good at making comics. So, I was really excited to read this. Heard it was great from so many people. The, what are the quotes on the back are all great. You see we have Michael Allred saying something about it. There's something here from Bleeding Cool. Jeff Lemire actually writes an introduction, which is a pretty good introduction. It's definitely talking the series up. And I really, really wasn't sure why I didn't care about anything. And just to get, I really wanted to talk about this trade in particular, in case if I do read the others later. I still want to talk about this one because I feel like there's a lot of comics where you read the first whole trade and you're still not invested in anything and you don't really care, and it's kind of hard for you to say like, well, people are telling me it gets better, which I honestly, I haven't heard anything about Revival getting better. I haven't looked, I haven't talked to anybody about it. But there's some series where people will say it gets much better, and you're like, alright, fine, I guess I can buy another trade, and then you're really determining on that one being better, but you're already going into it with a bad attitude, and that doesn't really work out well. But I'm really not even talking about Revival much here, I should be. So anyway, I did mention the art having some weird quirk to it that I didn't like, but it's still very good art. This is actually cover art. Hopefully we're not getting a glare from the light at all, because I remember that happening in the past. What do you think? Do you like it? I think it looks pretty good. The covers look great. The colors on the covers are fantastic. The colors in the interiors are pretty good. I say that, I mean, it's really good colors. The inks are also really nice, consistent. I can tell who people are all the time. Colors also help with that too. But I don't know why. It's so off-putting to me. I think it's because I really don't want to flip too much in case a page pops up that is a bit of a spoiler. It really reminds me of reading iRobot. What am I talking about? iRobot, that's the movie. iZombie. And its art was, to me, atrocious. It was so hard to look at. Unfortunately, I gave that book away, so if I can ever make a video on it, I would need it back, so before I can defend that. Anyway, so the art in this just kind of reminds me of that. Maybe that's the reason I feel a little weird about it. Other than that, the art is really great. Okay, it was just something in me that made me look at it like, something feels weird. But, basically, we get a bunch of characters we're introduced to. We get short snippets of their stories, and I was trying to define this for myself earlier, trying to figure out why I didn't really care about anyone. I think it's because we're like jumping around the story to certain bits where Tim Seeley thinks we should jump to understand it, and I feel like, because I write my own comics, he wrote his own profiles for his characters, read them all to himself, understood them, and then wrote his story almost to himself because he understood his own profiles so well. He understood the characters and he understood what he wanted to do with them, but then when he goes to make the story, he's working around those things, and you actually don't get those crucial bits of character development, what makes this person make the decisions they do, who is this kind of person, what do they like, anything that would get me invested in this person, any back matter to these people, nothing really. Things just kind of happen, and that is definitely something that I see more in underdeveloped comics, which are more in the independent realm that aren't made just with the same level of quality of something that I would expect from Image. So with that out of the way, that's basically just the gist of how I feel about the book, and I'm really not sure why I feel that way. Like I said, I'm still trying to put it together completely, because the book I feel like needed more developing time. There's a lot of interesting things that could have spawned out of this, and may, in later trades. That is very crucial. I haven't read the other ones. That could make this really interesting. But the thing is, they would be very interesting in this trade first, because, like, dealing with what's going to happen with a quarantined area, you need to figure that out first. That is making a setting. I need to understand the setting. I need to understand who these people are. So the crucial things that I think need to happen immediately don't in this. Like I said, he's jumping to certain things in the story and then jumping around, so we're already in bits with characters who we don't really know. We don't know why they're making these decisions. There's some very, very odd decisions people make in here that I still can't quite justify what they're doing. And it's not in the sense that we don't know their past or something like that, which honestly we don't. It's the fact that I don't think too much time went into figuring out their decisions. Sometimes in lazy writing, you'll get people who make decisions in comics, or really anything, based on what the writer wants them to do. So it's kind of like a prompted question you'll have a certain character ask, just so that the writer can answer it for them. So, say in, I was going to make a Walking Dead reference, but it may actually be a spoiler if I used it. But anyway, if I needed to get, I'm the writer of the comic, I need to get some idea to you that people, just from what you know this, people are coming back to life, or came back to life all of a sudden in one day in here. I need to tell you that. So my way of doing it is by making another character I don't really care about ask a question, so that I, as another character, can answer it, and you can read that. But the thing is, when that gets overused, and I don't think it was really overused, that idea gets used a lot in this, and because of that, people do some illogical things, I think, in some bits, and I really don't want to spoil the story too much. As I'm flipping through it, there are a lot of things that I'm looking back like, yeah, that, I still have no idea what that was all about. I have no idea what that was all about. And I'm assuming it's all because it's going to show up in later trades. And that's fine. I would want it to. I don't want to get everything out of this first trade that, you know, I'm buying it for. I want to build up to something, which is actually something that Hack and Slash didn't do. So Tim Seeley is definitely improving. This is better than Hack Slash, but it still has a lot of crucial problems to it. I think this was another way to put it. If I was seriously going to rate how good I think this comic is, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being this is atrocious, this is awful, Power's bad, to a 10, this is amazing, I can't wrap my head around how great this is, Watchmen kind of good. This is a perfect 5 for me. It is dead center indifference. I just simply read this book. And I feel like, I kind of feel like somebody who was sitting watching, say, like a magician, and you knew, like, the whole time they're trying to trick you, or they're trying to create this illusion, and it's not quite working perfectly, but you're at least playing along for a bit, just amusing yourself so that you can enjoy it. Tim Seeley is trying to tell this story, and because of seams in the cracks that are kind of falling apart, I'm just kind of reading through it so that I can amuse myself and at least get his gist out of it. And that sounds really kind of mean, but I mean it in a way that I think more time just needs to be put into it, higher level of craft in terms of the story. There's a lot of things where I feel like I'm just indifferent is really just the perfect word, because I got through the first 2 issues and I was really intrigued. I enjoyed it. There's bits of mystery into it. I was like, oh, so I wonder what's going to happen here. This can go in so many different directions. Like I said, it had a lot of potential in the beginning, and all of a sudden it just starts going in some really weird directions. Weird as in things that do actually get settled in this trade that are answered, and I don't like the story directions they went in. They weren't very interesting, and it had much better potential to it. Sigh. Sigh, sigh, sigh. Right, am I putting you to sleep too, Micah? Well, I don't want to ramble about this thing forever. I've only read the first trade, which is called You're Among Friends, which I have no idea what that means, honestly. I have no idea what that's even referring to, seriously. Yeah. At least Seeley doesn't have issues of understanding, like, how much dialogue to give to people. I've seen that happen a lot. See, I have to compare him to the worst comic writers I know to make him feel better to me, because I really want this to be good to me. I was just in my head comparing him to Bendis, and Bendis who just will not he just will not shut up in a comic, and it's kind of a problem when you have such text-heavy pages. And I was like, okay, well, he doesn't do that. That's kind of bad. And honestly, earlier I was thinking, you know, he really reminds me of Steve Niles writing, which I haven't gotten to anything he's written yet, but I really, really don't like Steve Niles' writing. We'll get into it later, but that's not good if I have to compare you to him to try and make you sound better. If anyone in the comments has read the other revivals coming out, or is reading the single issues, or has read the crossover with Chew that I really want to get my hands on, that sounds fun, let me know, because I really want to know that this gets any better. Also, let me know, I don't want to be the only one who thinks this way about this trade. Let me know down there if anybody else is with me on this, because from what I've read online, everyone is saying this is the greatest, and I just kind of feel like it's really weak. Or how about this? It doesn't nearly live up to all of the hype it's getting. How about that? I'm going to settle on that for being the best descriptive for this comic. So, anyway, I'm going to leave it about there. You think we're good, Micah? Yeah? You think we're good? I think we're good. I'll see you guys in the next comic book review video.